Sea trials have been going great, with plenty of videos coming soon. But before we let loose those dock lines and go sailing, we have one last project. It's first on our list when we bought Zayante, but last in the refit for us to do. Join us as we officially wrap up the refit.
Do not touch that. What? The soda bearing. You mean that?
Well, you see we have the windows out. We are starting to fit the other ones in. We're gonna have to do a little bit of cutting, a little bit of adjustments. The widths are a little bit off, of course, here in the boat, but yeah, a little anxious seeing that out because they've been in place forever. And we are definitely past the point of no return on those. So, and then back behind me is all the new windows down here. And it was a pretty big investment for those windows. And so I'm working to make sure everything goes well. So we're gonna have to seal up these windows because this is a big area to leave overnight. We have all the kids and us in a hotel. And just a huge area, which is a little disconcerting to come through. So part of the plan wasn't just to improve the looks of the boat, although it really should. You know, they are so dated. The frames, if we were going to keep the frames, we'd want to take them off anyway and then refinish them. But what it was is to also make it a little bit safer. The windows also have glazing. You'll see it when I pull out the window I just removed into the light. So we would have been looking at replacing that anyway. It's amazing how much heavier the new windows are. They're so much stronger. But these were also only fastened from the back of the frame. There's two sides of the frame, but the actual glass was just held in place by the back. With removing the screws, a good 1/3 of the screws were completely shot. And I'd imagine under pressure, a lot of the other ones would have. And so the chance of a heavy wave hitting and knocking out the window was pretty high. So with these new windows, the front of the frame actually is what it bevels back and supports the glass itself. It's stronger glass too, but it's the frame on the outside, so the entire wall strength holded, and not just the screws clamping it on. And so it's going to be much stronger as well, which takes care of our concern. But yeah, Pearson really did build them well. They are thick. That's,
Go in here.
it's not even a half, it's more 5/8. So I was a little surprised. I thought they'd be thinner. But anyway, we're on our way. And this would be the reason why we're getting a hotel for them.
Hello there. So hard to do these big things right here. Can you do, man? They're just so big. So big. I'll do over there too. And the
Yeah, I can get
hugest one.
biggest, hugest one.
Right here. In here. Do this one. Okay.
Girls are helping remove the caulking, the old caulk. What we have is we need to clean up all the everything in the windows, and there's two pieces, that an indoor piece that needs to be compressed down when we put the windows on. So we're just cleaning up all the caulking and stuff around it so it doesn't get in the way. Then we gotta do dry testing, but we're gonna do a little bit of cutting here first. We gotta use the back of the windows that we just got as templates, and then we're going to cut out tomorrow and then do dry fitting. But it's moving along. So far so good. Just have one sitting in here just temp fitted. The frame's not all the way in or compressed down, but that's the general idea. We're on our way. So I'm filling all our little holes here just so we can get some time to until tomorrow so that they'll dry and cure so that we can sand them down. But just all these little screw holes that you can see around. Fill those in and just prep it for painting. So the goal is we have our new windows have a different shape. They're gonna come out like this and then go down and then come back, just getting rid of this old dated swoop. And so increasing some visibility, and so
I want to turn.
you can't go right now. That's too sad. Hey Izzy, I'd take you everywhere. Yeah, I'm trying to film something, sweetie. So anyway, I'm gonna fill these holes, and then we can sand them down, and you can see that then we'll be able to put them back in. We're gonna have to, the goal is to sand everything down, get it prepped for painting, and then we are gonna take the new windows, use them as templates just to make a few of the minor changes. Make a few minor changes. Silly girl. So we're making a few minor changes to the windows. These front ones are gonna be increased up a little bit and also down just a little bit to allow more visibility. You see, if you look at my height, you can't see anything. So we're gonna fix that. A lot of the boats that have the countesses have done that, and so you can use the new windows as templates, cut out the holes, have it all prepped so that tomorrow evening we can do the painting. Then the next day, Friday, we do the dry fit of the windows, and if everything looks great with that, then on Saturday probably we will put in the new windows. And that's the same day the kids come back from the hotel, unless they have an opening to stay longer. So we'll see. We don't want to work on this any longer though. We want to go sailing. Lots of work. This is one of the last real big ones that should really change the look of the boat. Should take care of a few issues that we had, concerns, and moving on. It turned out there's a lot of holes. As you can see, everything torn up and plastic over everything, and now we're gonna start cutting and testing in some windows here. I already have just a few just sitting here, just loosely, a couple. And this is all cleaned up, and now we're gonna start trimming and placing. So day 3 of since we received the windows, which it feels like a whirlwind. Rachel was the one who was really pushing. So I'm down here to sand down some of our hole fills because we might as well paint the whole ceiling while we're at it. And so we're getting going here. I'm still feeling a little bit overwhelming because we're cutting holes in it. This glass is, you know, half-inch thick, and it's pretty much bulletproof with the laminates that they use. And it just seems so big, but the window sizes we've not increased any. We've only shaved off the rounding points that they had in the original design. And it really does improve the quality of sight with seeing, and but still it just makes you anxious, and we can't live in it, as you can see. So the kids are in a hotel. And we decided on it one more day, which puts us into Sunday. You know, if everything works out okay, I'm trying to keep the pressure down on everybody. But we had a few issues, a little bit of an overcut down there that we have to fill. You can sand these down today. Some of the balance isn't quite right, but it looks like we can just screw it in and it'll go flat. Makes me a little bit nervous, but it's just like the fiberglass can move a little bit. And it's like when we removed the old windows, it just seems to have, because we removed all the caulking and stuff that was in it, it just seems to have like self-adjusted a little bit. Not sagged or anything, just not been glued. So we're working on that. Maybe half the later when Rachel comes down, cut those three and then place those three windows. And then hopefully I'll have the sanding done so we can paint. So it kind of depends a little bit too on the neighbors. We're in the commercial basin, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal to be working in here. And a little bit of a gale later, so we're gonna have to batten everything down. She's already ready for sale, but there's just a few construction related things on deck we'll want to be sure about. So anyway, I am off into Sandy. So all the windows are cut in place. We just finished it. We're at day, pretty bad, you lose track of days. I think it's just day 3. But we got, since the windows came, we got them all cut and in place. There's a couple adjustments we need to make. The bottom of the ones on the very front ones need to be adjusted a little bit where it goes forward. Still like how it sits, almost puts a little too much pressure on the frame. Definitely don't want to crack that laminate. Expensive stuff, but it's pretty much there. The rest of them all went in great, and it's just, I don't know if we're gonna do a little bit of grinding of fiberglass out or just you know, just mess with it to get it to fit and use some sealant because it's really close. But it's looking pretty good. Tomorrow, which is Saturday, we need to come back down, take a look at really good look at the windows, make some marks on them, see if there's any adjustments that need to be made for the final fitting, and make some marks for when you go put them back in, you can tell right where they are, because a couple of them you can move around and then clamp down. We want to not have any moving around once we put the butyl tape and the silicone sealant in there. So we're going to mark some stuff off, see if there's any issues, make the final adjustments, and then we're going to pull them all off and finish painting, which I've been sanding it down, epoxied all the holes and then sanded it down. So sanded it down. I got to do a little bit more sanding around the frames when I finally removed those, because those were in place when I was doing that, but it's not a big deal. That epoxy sanded really well, and the rest of it's all done and taped. So then we're going to do 2 coats of perfection, which is the best epoxy based 2-part primer that we, not primer, but 2-part paint that we've used. And 2 coats of that, you have to wait about 6 hours in between coats minimum. So we'll see how it's doing, and then we're going to put the windows back in and then finish this and move back in, because we're staying in a hotel, and that of course adds up. But it really has changed the look, the brand new windows, and they're still just rough in place, but it really looks better. It's so much brighter. When we paint, it's going to even be a little bit more bright. It's just neat to see. So we are day 5.
Day 5.
Day 5 of this project. Rachel decided to take the tactic of treat the project like ripping off a Band-Aid. Try to get it all done.
Get it done.
But it feels like desolate. But we're on the insides of it. We'll show you here in a second. And it's actually turning out really nice. There's so many things that we had to take into consideration. I probably already discussed some of them, but it was the existing structure. There's only so much you can do with that. The way that they hand laid it and the thickness that the Pearson shipyard did dictated what we could do with some of the windows. We didn't, on the front, we didn't want to change their overall design. We just wanted to make it a little bit bigger. And with the stronger glass, we can do that.
And then remove the air vents. We didn't want air vents in there anymore.
And yeah, no portholes in there.
Portholes.
And now we can see through it. We can see in the seas, which is how it was intended. And then we wanted to remove the very dated retro swoops that were on the side and then use that area. And we ran into a couple things with cutting it out where the glass is just a little bit thicker. You know, they really compressed it down to where the windows would go. But it's all coming into place. We have one window to adjust still. And then we're going to remove them all, finish painting the inside, a little bit of sanding, because I sanded everything except for around the windows. Just where the window frames are, and that should just take like 20 minutes, and then we can start painting and put it.
Yeah.
2 coats today, hopefully.
2 coats, 6 hours in between
and then put
each
it back
one.
together.
Said, so.
But here, I'll show you the progress so far. And so all the kids are locked in the V-berth up there.
Yeah, up there.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. They're in a hotel. We should be the ones in the hotel while they're working on the boat.
Yeah.
But I can't joke about it. They've been a lot of help.
Yeah.
It's just having them out of the way. And so hopefully here we'll finish up today and tomorrow, and then we can come back aboard. I mean, even after doing the paint today, we can start removing the plastic, and that'll be huge.
Oh, that'll be a huge
There's still going to be fiberglass dust and the sand different places, but this is huge difference. At the end of the video, we'll get a bunch of shots of it, and then throw in some ones of what way it looked before.
We have some clips of just the process, but not a lot, because we were so trying to get it done so fast that we didn't get as much as we wanted to as far as clips. But it's gonna, you'll get the idea.
And we love Pearson. They really overbuilt this ship, and the one thing we didn't like was just the dated swoops in the windows. The swoops in the windows, just weren't us ever since we got the boat, and they were all glazed anyway, so we were gonna have to replace them. The frames, when we went to remove them, literally half of the screws were corroded. The window is just being held in by the back frames, and these new windows are so much stronger. Just the frames, it's all supported off the front, and so it encases the front, encases the glass, and so it's the entire strength of the wall is what holds in the glass, as opposed to just some screws on the back. And then the glass is going to be so much stronger. This glass is supposed to be guaranteed not to blow out. And so even though we'll take some wood for storm shutters in case we need it, this is glass which is the expense of it, that it can break, but it won't blow out.
It won't shatter, it won't blow out.
So we're gonna wrap it up today. All right, that's it. So, done sanding, and now we are at the stage of painting. We've acetoned it, we've washed it down, so it should be pretty clear. You can see it with the windows now out. The windows are all taped on the outside, so we can tell exactly where they go, and then we can peel it back for any excess sealant that comes out. But it's wide open. Rachel likes doing the painting, and I'm fine to let her like doing the painting because she's gotten pretty good at it. But man, so much work to get to this point, sanding it down, filling all the holes. They had just from years had holes all over that were predating us. And I filled those with epoxy and sanded it. And it's pretty smooth. So this should make a huge difference once the paint dries. Tomorrow, then we put in windows.
It's exciting. Yeah.
Almost done. So we're doing the final installation on these. We've already noticed on one of the back ones we're going to have to just fix a little bit on the edge to make sure that there's enough room for the sealant. But we're starting to put in the first one. The butyl tape is going on it right now. And then we are going to put it in there. Wish us luck. So we have almost all the windows except for the back two in place, and then we just have to tighten them down a little bit more. But all this sealant's in, and we're just, it says not to over tighten them. So we're kind of doing it with care. But you can see it in, and it really muffles the sound. They mentioned that the sound, the heat, it'll keep in the sound, it'll keep the sound from transferring, and you can really hear it. It muffles the outside, which is really neat. Anyway, they are all in, and doesn't that look good? We'll have to put a picture of how it looked before. Anybody who's watching our videos would know this is a lot better. And a better use of space, and we had to go with what they designed, initially, and we could only alter so much. But there we go.
Our dream is to sail farther, but we need your help. If you like our video, please remember to like, subscribe, or become a Patreon member. With your help, we can sail farther, record these adventures, and share them with you.